Let's walk with synth. But look at this for a vintage Walker's crisp packet. Wow, being the dentist because he was farting and burping in front of the clients. Let's have a walk around Belle Vue and Coleham, see if we can find out any secrets. Third-rate content style. Keep watching. So we're going to move on to stage 4 of Bellevue's development, which was the introduction of the railway and all the associated works and maintenance centres that were in Shrewsbury at that time, and really they are still down here, but we'll look at that after. But over this way, so yeah, we used to come down over this footbridge though. This was where we walked, but it's now shut, and I assume waiting demolition, but that's what it looked like to me as a kid in the 1980s. So we come down here and walk that way down to the shop that I just talked about. Yeah, so we're just making our way past the disused footbridge, abandoned, and we're going over what is now a pedestrian road crossing. But again, in my day, it was the actual thoroughfare into this area of Shrewsbury we're going to, which has changed significantly. Having a look here at the line for the Cambrian Coast Railway, which goes up to North Wales. I think it terminates around Snowdon. And also the line, the Welsh Marches line into Wales, Aberystwyth, Ceredigion, got it right that time, and that sort of area as well. So it's still very much used, this. Yeah, we've gone down a lot of rabbit holes researching today's Belle Vue and Coleham video, but it's given me a lot of food for thought, as in future videos. So yeah, see what happens in the future. But yeah, it's just, you go into these things and I don't know, I was going to do a quick research on Coleham and Belle Vue, primarily Belle Vue, because it was just going to be Belle Vue. But then I thought I couldn't do Belle Vue and Coleham and leave Coleham out, because the two are intrinsically linked, their development. But here we are, and it's going to be quite a long video today, I think. So get the kettle on. Yeah, so the railways came and they really contributed to a great increase in Bellevue's size, and this is now a social club. You know, sort of place you pay an annual membership, and then you join it and get cheap beer. But anyway, this was originally the Rebrook Sports and Social Club, was originally the canteen of the railway workers, who had their sheds all the way down this way. In fact, the area we're going to look at was called the back of the sheds. Yeah, we're banking on no tripod invasions today. I'm fingers crossed. Not fingers crossed, because I hate that, because it means you need luck. I'm just going to observe there is no tripod invasions. Look at this old chapel behind me. Again, I imagine used by railway workers working down here. Well, working down there and then living around here. We'll have a close look at these in a moment when we get to where we want to go. And worshipping behind me. So here we are, corner of Rock Street, where we've just made our way down here, Scott Street. But yeah, Rock Street, these are workers' cottages from the railway industry, because Shrewsbury was a huge maintenance hub for engines, for, you know, railway engines and that. And all the works were here where the cinema is now, all down here, Old Potts Way as it's today known. And it has featured on a third-rate content video we did last year, the glass pyramid of Shrewsbury, the Abbey Foregate one, which is down there. It's trees, you can't see it today. Yeah, well, I talked about it there, but this is the housing for the people who worked here. Yeah, but my own third-rate content, another third-rate content anecdote or recollection really is a more accurate description, was when I first moved to Shrewsbury, 1984. Between 1984 and 1988, I think it was, I lived just down here at Rebrook Avenue till my parents moved to Castlefields, where they actually wanted to live all along. I suppose being northern, Bellevue was a bit spacious for them and a bit green, but I am joking, of course. But anyway, just here, right here where my finger's going, was a railway bridge, and it was still in use on actually I think that was the Bridge North Line, and there was still trains going over it, freight trains, not really passenger trains I don't think, but soon after they stopped. And the bridge, it was like something from an American film. We used to climb on it and everything, obviously being kids in the 80s. And that is another start of Rebrook, really, that area there. So we're in Bellevue here, Rebrook there. But the youth club was here, and it was a prefab building. I imagine another leftover relic from the railway industry. And that would have been about here, I would have said. And the new sort of 2000s, I'd say that was done in for the millennium and that sort of era, is now been built there. More recollections of the past, third-rate content style. Yeah, so we're just coming off here and we're going to make our way back up to the main part of Bellevue. But would you say this counts as a shot of Shrewsbury? It probably doesn't, because we're outside of the town centre. And it leads up into this more, what I assume was railway workers' cottages. Or maybe not, but just built around the same time. These are sort of fans made above the doors and windows, very decorative. And you've got actually these kind of, say, roses. I'm not sure if you know what they are. Comment, please comment. You've got some great detail. These hawthorn cottages got like more nice detail, interesting. A bit above just your average terraced house cottages. Yeah, so we loop down there up Bree Street, Rock Street, and we're coming back up to the abandoned bridge, and we're going to make our way back to the main part of Bellevue proper. Yeah, just wondering if there's any trains running today with the strikes and whatnot. But either way, if you want to get to the Welsh coast, you could be scuppered. I don't know if you are or not. I haven't checked out. But if you do want to drive, you got to endure the heavy fuel costs. In fact, here comes a train actually, so they are running. But you still have to endure the heavy fuel cost if you're driving. Hard times in the world. And if you watch the news, you believe it is the end of Western civilization, and it might well be. But I don't watch the news these days. I just watch YouTube, and I recommend you guys just keep watching YouTube and third-rate content. Let's walk with synth. That was the exact same gate as when I lived there. And I'm sure it was there a long time before that, looking at it. Yeah, I remember this building being the Red Cross, Shrewsbury's branch of the Red Cross. It had like a Red Cross in the window at the very top there. It's quite an interesting Victorian villa. Don't know the history of that place though, sorry. So we're making our way down the hill, down Betton Street and away from Sutton Junction, down back onto Bellevue Road. As you can see, we've got the network rail here on the right hand side of the road, sort of keeping it in tradition sort of with the works we were talking about from the 1800s, continuing that tradition in Shrewsbury. But yeah, this is, I would say, a classic Georgian farmhouse really. This would have been here probably, well, definitely from a long time before most of the villas of the 1840s and onwards, when it were all fields round here, undoubtedly. So we're here at the bottom of Betton Street now, and you've got the Network Rail delivery unit, Morton Crescent, and then Old Coleham. We'll go and have a little look at Old Coleham. Morton Point, this very modern looking structure, built about 10 years ago, 15 years ago. I did live here briefly in the last 10 years. This row of cottages, again I'd say built in the last 20 years. Belle cottages. Lol. Belle ends with an N, not a D in this case. Very much in keeping with the style around here though. Back of Morton Crescent and Old Coleham. These are the original cottages. And then the newer structures in the background. All built in the last, I'd say, very recently. And sort of 25 years ago, 20 years ago. So this is where the original road would have run, the original coach road, as we stated earlier. See Carline Crescent there in the background, and that is Coleham Head, and that's the sharp turn we were talking about where the two ladies are walking, that the original road would have followed and come up here, which is now known as Old Coleham. And this is the site of the former Castle pub, which we saw the other side of with the new development. In Morton Point, in summer, it was unbearably hot with all that glass at the front. Yeah, it was too much. This right now would have been a nightmare. Making our way further up Bellevue Road. I do remember this corner building when I was a child being a butcher's shop. So yeah, and the other side to Bestford Square that we just showed you. Yeah, so the development just off Bellevue Road, Pony Gardens, named after the notable Shrewsbury architect Samuel Pony Smith, who remodelled this building, the Limes, and also built nearby Morph House and Kinnersley House, which we're just about to go and have a look at. Morph House, designed and instructed to be built by Kinnersley Smith, which were at one time in the 1980s and possibly before, houses for British Army officers who were stationed in Shrewsbury, because Shrewsbury did used to be a pretty big army town a few years ago. This cottage, look at the detail on the stone there. Very outstanding. I do like that little cottage. Where this Wellspring Apostolic Church is now sited is the site of a former cemetery in Shrewsbury, which was the cemetery of the Non-conformists. Yeah, Non-conformists were basically anyone who wasn't on board for the Anglican Church, Church of England, which it could be anyone from Presbyterians to Quakers and so on. But this site, after it had been a graveyard because a cemetery for the Non-conformists, it came into use in 1852. The site was used as like I said, the Non-conformist cemetery. You can still see some of the graves here, look, from back then. It was superseded, the cemetery, because nearby, about a mile up the road, was Longden Road Cemetery, which was built for all faiths. So this cemetery was kind of superseded, and the church that was here, not 100% sure where that would have been, but it wasn't on the site of this one, was basically left until 1929, when the apostolic religion or sect of Christianity took it over. And this was in, like I said, 1929, and they used the former mortuary chapel as their church house, until 1943, during World War II. Some children burnt it down. Naughty children. You can actually go in, which is nice. We can have a close look at these non-conformist graves. But yeah, the children burnt down the chapel, which was, like I said, the former mortuary chapel, and they relocated a church from Minsterley, brick by brick. The church, not the kids. Here, and this is what is used today. Looks like 62. And that would fit right in with the 1852 cemetery opening date. Age 75 years, 1880. Catherine of Jones, Catherine Jones. Yeah, I think that one's a bit gone now. Yeah, so absolute backs up what we were saying. Cemetery, but no longer a cemetery. But these memorials remain here, just off Bellevue Road. This one's no bones in there, I don't think. I think the remains will have been removed. But look at this for a vintage Walker's Crisp packet. Wow. That is vintage. What a find. Yeah, the front window is clear and they're smoky bacon. You do not see many of them anymore. Let's put it back in the memorial for someone else to find. Third rate vintage finds. Get in. I remember these buildings just right here being shops a long time ago. Post office as well, I believe, if I remember correctly. Some very nice houses up here in Bellevue Gardens, and one in particular that we're looking for. Let's see if we find it. What about having that in your front garden? Reclaim mania. Ooh, nasty. Yeah, the house we were looking for, Montreux on Bellevue Gardens, which I think is one of the ones behind my shoulder. But again, if I'm wrong, please correct me. Is William Clopton Lloyd Jones. He was a sportsman, and he played at the Oval, and he played for Middlesex against Essex, but he was not a cricket player. He was a football player. And not only was he that, he won the FA Cup for Clapham Rovers. You're not going to find them on FIFA 2023, are you? Or 2022, should I say. But he scored and won the FA Cup. And he was also an all-round sportsman and a businessman in the 1800s. But yeah, football was a big, very violent game. You had the Wild West in America, and you had football in England and the UK. Hacking was the rule. It was very violent. Yeah, I'm going for that one. It's still, by the looks, a bit of retail here on Bellevue Road, but it's just hanging on in there. Let's go for a little walk up Havelock Road, just off Bellevue Road. Yeah, this interesting house down Havelock Road, modern house, was built about 2 years ago, and it was built by the lady who lives in it now. Just been told by a local. And by built, I'm led to believe that she literally built it herself. Must be very satisfying to finish a project and then actually live in the project and having done it all yourself. And that's what the local man told me. lovely Georgian houses. Very grand houses down this leafy lane, Havelock Road. All these lovely little cottages, workers' cottages, and slightly grander 1910 Nelson Place. Wonder if it was named after the famous admiral. Though it might well not have been named after the famous admiral, as he had no connection with Shrewsbury. Again, the Welsh line. Come off the bridge into Montague Place. This is another sort of area you wouldn't ever know it was here off Bellevue Road. Quite a bit off Bellevue Road now. But unless you had business down here or you'd bought a house, you wouldn't know it was here, just tucked away. Fascinating bit of social history here, right in the corner. Montague Place. And a big thank you to third-rate content viewer Mrs. R for telling us about this very interesting piece of social history. Children's, well, people's names. I think some of them are children's that have been carved into the brick face here. So I've just been talking to the lady who owns this house, built in 1879. I don't know if you can just see it up there. But yeah, so all these carvings in the wall, done by children in the hole. And she was saying, to this day, this corner for some reason is an attraction for kids. Kids who still live in the area play here. She said recently, just the other day, some kids had built a little house next to this corner. So there's something about this has been attracting children for 145 years and still does to this day. We don't know why, because you don't see this on any other, bricks carved in. You don't see it in Castlefields or any other places with these sort of cottages. But you do here. And it's a real trend. Look at that, 1934. End one, Bridge End. That's quite a recent one, but it fits right in with the rest of the street. Back on Bellevue Road. Bellevue Tavern, the fourth of the 5 pubs of Bellevue. Yeah, and Bellevue Tavern was known as the Plough up until 1991. When it became the Bellevue Tavern, and it's also one of the two inns that was a coaching inn that Bellevue, the cottages built up around in the early days of Bellevue, really, that linked up with the extension from Coleham to make Bellevue start to make it as we know it today. But I am thinking this pub has been remodelled at some point in the last 100 years, and I take it it's either the frame of it or the foundations or just part of it. I mean, this part looks old, sort of Georgian-y. But there's definitely been work done here since that time, which is not surprising because it was a long time ago. Just go for a little walk up North Hermitage. I used to play down here as a young child, sort of under 10, because I had a friend whose mum lived down here. And as I went to Coleham, I knew a few kids who were bit posher than me, and some of them, they live down here. And my mate, I think, yeah, this was the house. Wow, it's all coming back to me. Sort of self-indulging a little bit, but yeah, I played there. And there was another kid who lived down here, North Hermitage, a few years older than me. He used to try and bully me a bit. I used to try. Sort of make fun of me because my dad had a clapped out VW van, called me blue van kid. That kid went on to be a dentist. I think he was called Matthew something, but he got struck off with infamy. He became an infamous figure for a while. Got struck off for being a dentist because he was farting and burping in front of the clients, the patient, should I say, and he was struck off. I don't know what happened to him, but if you Google farting dentist, you'll find him, and there's a picture of him for you as well. Anyway, he wasn't a very nice kid, and he turns out he wasn't a very nice dentist. So more third-rate anecdotes. When I came down here, there was just like a farmhouse down here, and this development hadn't been built. We're on West Hermitage now. I mean, really nice down here, but look at this one. I'll have a quick investigate. But yeah, can you see anything in there? Oh, wow. This has gone to rack and ruin, and it's an absolutely beautiful house. And it's now the archetypal haunted house on the street. Wowzers. In the Hermitages. I used to know a kid who lived here as well, and ironically, his parents were dentists as well. I don't recall their house smelling of farts though. Yeah, there was another footballer of note, lived down South Hermitage. I can't find the house. I've looked up and down here for Oakfield House. If anyone can help, once again, please comment. But yeah, he lived at Oakfield House, and he was a Wales international, and he was called Jack Bowdler. So Bellevue Road had footballers from all different eras in the olden days. Third-rate research. Yeah, another example of a lovely villa complex. Lexton Gardens, very nice, right next door to the third and final place of worship on Bellevue Road. The Methodist Church, been here quite a while, very low key as you'd expect from a Methodist chapel. And that is the site of what used to be council offices, Oakley Manor. But not anymore. Oakley Street, Drawwell Street. The fifth and final of today's Bellevue Road pubs, the Grove. And this row of cottages, which again I'd say they are old, Victorian or earlier. But here is the end of Bellevue in today's video, because once you hit this train bridge, which once again is going over the Heart of Wales and Cambrian line, that's the end of Bellevue, because it becomes Hereford Road and meal breaks. So thanks for watching to the end of today's presentation on third-rate content, and enjoying a lovely walk around Shrewsbury in the summer, and a nice borough of Shrewsbury, or suburb of Shrewsbury, Belle Vue and Coleham. So don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and do comment. I love a good comment. And if you've got any corrections to make or observations or anything, chuck them in the comments and we'll talk. But like I say, if I don't see you soon, I'll see you 3 times as soon. Third-rate content signing out from this particularly fairly long video today, but you know, might start doing more. We'll see how it goes. So third-rate content signing out. Thank you.